Hello there and welcome to my YouTube channel, Julie McNeil Crafts. So today is another release day. I do love release days, although this has proven to be quite a hectic release day. I normally do a Facebook Live at 12, that hasn't happened, and I was a bit late getting everything into the shop, but like everybody else, dealing with lockdown and the fact that I now have to do 3 times as much stuff in a day than I normally used to. You can tell I've been colouring this morning because we've got the marker ink on the on the fingers. Anyway, on to the release. So these are sort of similar girls to the Toadstool Tots. The Toadstool Tots have been so popular, so thank you everybody for loving them to bits. So this time we have the mini Melodies. So we have a musical theme, but we've still sort of got this little slight toadstool element to each of the girls, and we've got the little clown noses, and they're just a little bit dinkier and chubbier than my normal style of girls, but they have proved to be really popular, so I think they'll probably be a recurring theme. So this is the mini Melodies collection. So to start off, we've got this little cutie playing the flute. So each of them have got a musical instrument and a little birdie creature to go with them. So this one is a Maisie, and then I think this one's Millie. Yep, Millie. For some reason, I've coloured her in a way that she looks really like Wonder Woman. That wasn't really the intention, but it's kind of what happened, and I've just noticed I've not coloured the back of her dress there, so I'll not be using that one. We'll come back to her. But yeah, so she's got the maracas, and I think this one might be my favourite. Oh, she's so pretty. I think I just like the shape of her dress, and also I think that's one of my favourite colour combinations, so I'm probably a bit more drawn to that. And this one is Maggie, and then this one does look a lot prettier in real life. Had total disaster colouring her eyes in, and then tried to go round it with black pen to make it look better, and now it just looks like she's got a black eye. So I will be colouring this one up again. It's really funny, if you check the thumbnail, I've actually just covered her face with one of the birds from the other girls. So even when it comes to the technology stuff, there's a way to cover your mistakes. And this one is Mira. So there we go. Those are those 4 little sweeties. So you can get each of them for £2.99 each on my shop. Or you can buy the bundle, which is £2.50, and you get those 4 little cuties there, and you get the sentiments. So we've got some of my best friends are songs. Music is the art of thinking in sounds. Life is a song, sing it. Music is what feelings sound like. Music, that is why music is life. That is why our heart beats. Okay, we cannot always choose the music life plays for us, but we can choose how we dance to it. I think that's probably very apt for this current moment in time, so I might actually choose that when we do a journal page. Music is a piece of art that goes in the ears and straight to the heart. I think that's really sweet. And then the accessories this time is actually, we've got 2 swirls, so they can be like repeated. If you do them on your computer, they can be repeated, and you can have them as a background paper. I mean, just something with one of the girls sort of cut out beside it, or as I said, it can be cut out and be an embellishment. So yeah, I just fancied just doing something a little bit different. So what I'm going to do now is just grab a few bits and pieces together and attempt to do a quick make, because technically this video should be live on YouTube in just over an hour, and I still have to film it and then edit it and upload it, so it's probably going to be a little bit late. I think last month's was as well. That's shocking. I'm going to have to get myself more organised. But I did have an unexpected Hachanda show this month that I wasn't planning for, so that is where the distraction lay. So anyway, I'll go and get some bits and pieces and we will play. Okay. So I don't particularly have a plan, I'm just going to go with the flow. I am in my Jane Davenport journal. This is a mop-up page from the boho journal that I did the other day. Just by what's currently there. The colouring of this girl seems to go best, and obviously I have got my music sheet. So whether the plan will stay with those elements, I don't know, but let's find out. So I am just going to get some of these gorgeous music sheets down first. Ooh. And then we will see how we go. Now I was just about to tell you really excitedly that I now have my indigo blue slap on. It's arrived, it's so exciting. and it's downstairs. Can't be bothered going and getting it. So yeah, I probably think I'll just sort of make do with what I've got right now. Right, I think I'm going to get some, I have some sheets just beside me, just to protect the pages. Put some papers down there, and I am now just going to stick this down using the very last remainder of this gel medium. My daughter's singing downstairs, so if that's carrying up, then, well, I'd like to say apologise, but to be honest, it's quite nice just to hear them singing, especially in these current circumstances. I think it has far bigger impact on our children than we're maybe aware. They kind of say they're okay and they seem fine, but I think it does have a impact on them. I think we seem to have so many fights about getting schoolwork done. I mean, I know that's kind of normal, but it's probably just the last thing they want to be doing. You know, when everything's so strange. But, and then, like, I did hear my daughter and one of her friends, you know, having a play date via Zoom and WhatsApp, and they were playing being in the hospital with the virus, and it was like, oh, that's so sad. Right, I've also got my little things. They're the wrong colour, but we can colour them up. So I was thinking we could have elements like that. Part of me was just wondering whether to sort of cut part of that and tuck it in. I'm actually just going to stick it down. It's best not to have a plan. It's the wrong colourways, but we'll just we can go over that with some sort of ink or paint or something or other. Let's just stick that down. Also, my printer, the black ink has been needing replaced, so there's a slight marking on that, but that is down to my printer, not down to the design, because I've seen the other girls have used these and they've turned out completely fine, so that's just a quirk of my printer. So I can pop this one here. Okay. There we go. And now I have no idea what I'm doing. I've got this far. And yeah, let's hope we get further. I'm just playing. I think that's, somebody was saying, like, why art journal? I think sometimes when you're, I know I was the same, and I love playing in my art journal. And you're like, oh, well, I like making cards because it's nice to have a purpose. But do you know what? Your purpose should just be creating for yourself, having fun, enjoying. There is something incredibly therapeutic about the creative process. I used to be a therapist before this became my job, and yeah, we were often telling people or encouraging people to find a creative outlet because it makes such a difference. So don't feel you have to find a purpose. And the thing is, it's quite nice working in a journal because art is a very effective way of processing emotions. That's why there's such a thing as art therapy. I've had art therapy as well. I've used art therapy in my own sort of journey in dealing with anxiety. And yeah, it's amazing what can come out. So don't feel that your art has to have a purpose. If you are relaxing and managing to unwind and having fun, then that's all the purpose that you need. And I think journals are great for that. You can come back to them later and have a little look, and you get to keep them. Sometimes it's quite nice. You can save your own stuff for, you know, the stuff that you really like, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to part with that. A journal's quite good because then you don't actually have to part with it. Okay, I think we need to sort of get some colour on this page, so I'm just going to have a wee look at my stash. So I've got this lovely tissue paper. I actually received this from the lovely Carol Ann from Kaj Crafts. For those of you that are aware, Kaj has actually tested positive for this COVID-19 virus. So she's not very well, so let's wish her all the best and hope that she recovers from it, because she's well known in the crafting community. But this was a lovely gift that I got from her, and I'm just feeling that my little girl, because I've coloured her in partly red, we're needing a bit more colour popping through. So I'm just going to sort of tear out some of these hearts using a bit of tissue. It makes it nice and easy to do that, and I'm just going to find different places to layer them, and then I think we'll just add a bit of extra colour onto our page with some maybe inks and stuff like that, and then see where we are with that. But yeah, I thought that the saying, I thought, oh, that works quite well for a journal page. When I look for sayings, it's just like ones that sort of speak to me and stuff like that. And obviously I'd got all of these drawn up a while ago, so we weren't sort of in the current situation when when those got drawn. But actually, it works. So let's go with that. So I'm going to pop some of these. And it's worth tearing them and doing this, because what happens is you get a really soft edge to your work, to the edge of the tissue, and then it just blends beautifully into the page. It's sort of almost like it was part of the printed page in the first place. So I'm going to glue these ones down. What I've done is I've just popped, squeezed out a little bit of Mod Podge into this pot, just for ease of use, and because I still can't be bothered going downstairs and getting my my indigo blue one. But I've actually got a bit of tidying to do in the craft room, and I've got a haul, and I got some lovely Happy Mail from our Sarah, which I want to record as well. And yeah, I asked Sarah for a favour, and not only does she fulfil the favour, which was more than enough, she also sent me some goodies, which is so kind of her. So I will be filming that a bit later on tonight. But as I said, the priority is just to sort of try and get this video up as close to 4 o'clock as possible. So although there's stuff waiting to come up and stuff that's needing to go down, and I need a little bit of a straightening going on, I'm not doing that right this second. See, I love that about using tissue paper. It just disappears into the page. It's amazing. I never used to be one for you know, buying pretty napkins and stuff like that, and you know, sometimes I can be a little bit of a crafting snob, I will admit to it. I do like brand names and different things like that, and I love my rice papers, but honestly, little napkins that you can buy in the supermarket or in pound shop or something like that, and they're so pretty and they do the job perfectly, and they are so effective as a crafting tool. You know, I wonder if the napkin producers, people that make on all these napkins for our picnics, are aware of what us artists are doing with them. What us creatives manage to do with a napkin. It's something else. I was watching our Charmaine, or Chairman, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce her name, I must find out, from Dolly Dimples. And she was doing a Facebook Live, because we've got a group crafting with all brands, and there's quite a few of us on the admin there, and we're doing different lives. I think I'm on tomorrow actually doing a live, and she was saying she was altering a cigar box. She goes, I don't actually smoke cigars, and neither does anybody in my family, but she was on holiday and there was this guy smoking cigars, and I'm not sure if it was some sort of cruise or thing, but it was some sort of extended holiday, some sort of holiday that they were all sort of together for the time. She goes, oh, do you think I could have, could I have your tin? And I was like, that's a true crafter, you know, you're away on holiday noticing somebody and go, oh, that tin would be lovely, I wonder if they're going to use it. Ask for their tin. I love that. Yeah, I have been known. There was one, so I was at a friend's wedding, and I'm just going to check that I'm still recording, because my camera's doing funny things. A strange edit there, because I couldn't work out what the camera was doing. But yeah, I was at a friend's wedding, and see these here. She had like those on every sort of table, and then at the end of the wedding she noticed me the little pot. She's like, are you stealing all my? I'm like, yep. Yep, I acquired some extra little beads that day. So yeah, That's what we're like. We squirrel things away. Actually, in sorting my craft room, I've discovered lots of things that I need to play with. I'll have to show you my box of notepads. I clearly obviously went through a phase of altering notepads. I have 3 drawers just full of notepads, and I can't tell you how long it is since I've actually altered a notepad. So I think that may be an upcoming project fairly soon. Right. Okay, so I've got a bit more colour onto the page now. I think we'll let that dry and then let's add a bit of colour in with some form of medium, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, so I've grabbed a few different stencils. They're not musical themed in the slightest, but I don't really have any musical theme stencils, so I'm just working with what we've got. I still have no idea how I'm going to bring this page together. I'm sort of at the stage now where it's like, what on earth have I done and what on earth am I doing? Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about the page right now. So we all do it. We all do it. We sort of, I think your work sort of goes into a hot mess first before it starts to do anything that it's supposed to do. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. So I had mustard seed there, and now I've got ripe persimmon, which is a gorgeous corally colour. So and I'm just putting it through my stencils and seeing what happens. As I said, I'm hoping that if I just keep playing and I just keep building up my page, that all of a sudden something will happen and I'll go, that's it. That's what I want. Oh, something's afoot downstairs. At least it's happy noises, so that's good. Probably because we're getting close to the weekend and we don't have to fight about schoolwork. I'm sure we only submit half of what we're supposed to, because we never seem to be getting it done, and it always seems to be going in days late. But honestly, the other day, you know, got time to go into Google Hangouts and speak to the teacher. I couldn't even get on, couldn't even get into the classroom. Sometimes it takes me 40 to 50 minutes just to get logged in, get the stuff downloaded, and in that time we've just lost any momentum that we may have had. I kind of almost wish that the schoolwork would come in the night before, and then I would get a chance to print it out, look at it, have it ready, and then create a schedule for the day. But trying to do it this way, I don't know, it just does not seem to happen at all. I really struggle with it, but I'm not the only one. And then that means the other thing as well is, like, I have been getting up at 6 o'clock to start working. I've been going to bed after midnight. I'm exhausted, just trying to, because I was having a meeting with my well, he's my website guy, but he's also the guy that produces the paper pads for me and stuff like that, so I have quite a lot to do with him. And he's like, oh, are you used to this? Used to working from home? And I'm like, yeah, I am, but I'm not used to working from home and trying to homeschool and trying to keep a child entertained the whole time. Well, we've brightened the page up. I really don't know what's happening with it, but we've done something, that's for sure. Right, oh, the scissors I like are downstairs, and I hate fussy, look at these, I want to even attempt it, or shall I just go for a ripped and torn look? Yeah, let's just do that. Right, this page is lovely and bright now. It's got lots of interest. It's still needing toned back a little bit, I think, and it's needing brought together somehow. I'm not overly sure how right at this moment in time, but we'll see. I don't know why I'm adding this, but you know, you just see torn paper in front of you and feel the need to stick it down. And I'm also just thinking it's going to start maybe lifting what's going on a little bit. Again, if I can get that to stick down. Where's my Mod Podge? Right. As I said, I don't know if this is doing anything at all, but it's, as I said, it's sort of like a compulsion. There's a piece of torn paper in front of me. I must stick it somewhere. I must not waste the scrap of torn paper. This is what I like about art journaling though. You're not sitting there. I think like if I'm making a card for someone, you're like, oh man, are they gonna like it? And oh, it's not going as I expected it to, and I don't know, there just seems to be much more expectation. Whereas when you're just playing in your journal, it's like fine, just play, see what happens. There's no way this is going up for 4 o'clock because it's now 3:20. I have no idea what's happening in my journal, but yeah, I'm having fun. I love sharing my images with you, but sometimes getting them all logged onto the website and set up in the shop, it's the sort of boring side to this job. And I look at that, the distress ink's moving. That's fine. Right. I am just going to pause the camera for a moment and have a contemplate about what on earth is happening with this page. Okay, so I think part of the problem is the girl was just looking a bit lost on that crazy page. So I've got one of the other girls out as well, and I'm going to put a girl on each page, and I think that makes a huge difference. So what I'm going to do now is just stick these down, then I'm going to grab a Inktense pencil and start doing some shadowing around the images and also around some of the other elements, and just see if that sort of knocks things back a little bit. Actually, I'm wondering whether I should do a bit with gesso first. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm not going to get my pen out at all. I'm going to pop this in. Right, and then because we've got the stark white against those bright colours, we're just needing to sort of blend that together. So let's just do a little bit of dry brushing with our gesso. And then I'll blatter that with a heat gun, and then we'll maybe do some shadowing. So yeah, it's funny, you need to brighten it up and then you need to knock it back, and it does all make a difference. It is all, like, people kind of think, oh, what's the point? I know I get comments like that, what's the point? Because like you've covered it all up, and it was like, well, the point is I'm being creative, I am playing, I am distracted from what is going on in the world around me for 5 minutes. That brush isn't any good. And, you know, being creative, the process of being creative is fun, it's therapeutic, I'm enjoying it. So that's the purpose. I mean, that should be the purpose when we're creating. It's about us. It's not about what anybody thinks of our art, or, you know, I don't think any of us that are on here are attempting to become world famous or anything like that. We're just sharing a passion. And then the other thing as well is I'm dry gessoing here. I have not lost that. I can still see the music page underneath. I can still see those elements of tissue paper. And now that I'm dry gessoing, it's actually picking up the crunkles of the tissue paper as well. So all the elements are still there. It might require that you have to look a bit more into the project to see all of those elements, but that's okay. It gives interest. It's like if you, I don't know, it's like a picture that the more you look at it, the more you see. Like in an art gallery, if you've got a painting that's got layers and interest and plenty of elements to look at, you know, you're there for a while, looking at it and being taken in and lost into the painter's world for a little bit. If you've just got something that's plain and boring, it's like, well, that's nice, and we move on to the next one. And so there is those sort of elements of interest that we are bringing in. So actually, because I've used distress ink, I do have a product actually that fixes your distress ink. I've not actually played with it and tried to use it. But if you're not wanting it to move, you would maybe need to fix it with something like that. Or sometimes what I do is I put like a clear gesso over, and then that creates like a barrier and a new surface for you to work on with your extra mediums. But actually I don't mind at the minute that it's moving the colour, because it's bringing a little bit of that colour into my pictures, and that is sort of tying everything together. So now, you know, we've toned down the background a little bit, and we're bringing that colour onto the pictures, and so it all looks like it's meant to be, whereas sort of 5 minutes ago it was like, what on earth is going on here? But when you're slapping colours on and you're putting things through stencil and you're just sticking things down, at that point you don't have a plan. You're just enjoying the freedom. And so that's the good thing to do it. And quite often when you sit down in front of a blank piece of paper, you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Sometimes a white piece of paper can be one of the most scary things. I don't know why, but we all just seem to be a bit affected, a bit overly affected by a white piece of paper. And this, just getting colour on the page, just not thinking, slapping a bit of paper on, slapping a bit of paint on. If you end up covering it, no big deal. If you end up hating it and having to cover the whole thing in black gesso and start again, it's fine. You've got yourself started, whereas sometimes we can end up spending more time staring at a blank page wondering what to do with it. Whereas if we just actually start throwing things down, we get the process started. And once there's a process there, once there's something on the page, there's something to work with, and we gradually work it all out. So it's all good. Have I waffled on? There you go. Thank you, Mrs. McNeil, for that lecture. I think I've got into homeschooling mode. You're like, yes, Julia, I put this on to relax and be unwound, and instead I've got a big lecture. I'm not meaning it to be. I'm just responding to comments that I've had. You know, because I have had comments of like, why do you put all of that down and cover it all up? And that is it. Because by putting stuff down, it gets the creative juices flowing, and then I work out where I am going, and if I cover it up, I cover it up. But I've enjoyed myself, so it's not time wasted and it's not product wasted if you have enjoyed yourself. It's all good. It sounds like I'm being locked into the loft, or joined in the loft, or something or other. Quite often I get locked in the loft because the cat tries to come up. But we're a bit nervous that, you know, she could get stuck in a wall or something in between the walls, so we don't tend to let her stay. So she sits and cries and cries. At the minute she's getting to go outside a little bit, but it's such a shame because we're having to go, because obviously they've asked pet owners to keep their cats at home, and like she's literally just been, like, she's just had her wee-op a while ago. She's at the stage that we should be letting her out, we should be letting her explore the world. You can't explain to a cat, can you, why about social distancing? So she gets as far as the garden, but one of us always has to be there so that she doesn't escape. Yeah, and it's such a shame because she's either crying at the back door or crying in the hallway because she wants to be in the loft. And you kind of think, oh, you should be out exploring the world, but it's hard enough explaining it to a child, but you can't really, as I said, you can't really explain it to a cat. Right, I think that I've sort of blended all of that together now, so let's just let that dry. Okay, so I blasted that with a heat gun because, as I've said, I am sort of against it with time. Right, I've got Inktense pencils, Willow and Carmine Pink, and I'm thinking that these will create maybe a sort of sepia-ish tone, which will maybe help to just not knock the, no, that's the wrong brush, I was going to say, wasn't working, there we go. It might just help to knock the project back at that little bit more again and sort of tone everything in, because we did sort of start off with those really lovely sepia music sheets which are just sort of peeking in various places, so I might just emphasise some of those. So the reason, I know I've mentioned it a lot and I'm sorry if you're sick of hearing me say this, if you are, just feel free to, you know, tap the wee things so that you skip forward a little bit, is when you shadow with something, everything in life has a shadow. So if I put something, you can see the shadow of my pencil on my work there. It's just a natural thing. In life, if you have an image in front, there will be a shadow behind. So when you do shadow things, the darker colours recede to the background, pushing the brighter colours forward. So it means the eye actually sees what you want it to see. So obviously my main focus is these girls, so I am going to put the shadowing mostly around those so that I am getting the eye to look at these girls first. And the other thing is, obviously I am working in a journal that has a spine. It's not one of these ones that I can sort of really build up the page loads and loads, because at the end of the day it all has to fit in the book. So I like doing things with like a lot of texture, with a lot of dimension, but if you do that too much on a journal page, eventually, you know, you break the spine of the journal and you end up having to take out pages and things like that. So that's why I quite often use things like my Junk and Disorderly journal, because I can go mad and it doesn't matter if I've got the it doesn't matter if I've got lots of dimension on it. But with this technique, what it does is it allows us to sort of gain that dimensional look, but without having to have the bulk. So we do two things: we frame it, we train the eye to look where we want it to look, and as I said, we add a sort of dimension to it. Now this is a bit of a laborious process, so I am just going to pop you on speed up while I finish that. Okay, so we're getting there. I've just chopped my sentiment up and sort of laid it out just to see how we are going, and I think we are definitely getting there. I just want to frame this page a little bit more. So I have got Distress Ink Aged Mahogany, and I'm just going to go around the edges of this with the Aged Mahogany, and then I am going to come in with my black pen just to frame it and see, because I've tried to do a little bit of shadowing with the pencil, so we've managed to get some of it. I just feel that it needs it to be a little bit stronger in certain places. But I kind of went from a stage where I was looking at this page going, this is mad, Julia, what on earth do you think you're doing, to reasonably liking it. It's not there yet. I'm not thinking, oh my goodness, I am in love with this page, but I am liking the direction with which we are heading. So I'm just going to take that out now. It's good to use it because you don't want to damage your page, and it's normally the bit I forget, and then I end up damaging pages that I like. But it also kind of gets to the page point where I need to sort of see what the actual page is looking like, rather than sort of how it appears with the paper behind it. So I'm just grabbing my black Pro Marker and I'm just going around the edge of my page with the pen just to frame it. Oops, doesn't matter that it's going to be blobby in certain bits. It's an art journal. It's kind of going to makes it look loose and free and stuff like that. So I'm not as fussed on an art journal how it ends up happening. So I'm just going to, and I've got some rough edges because of those tissues and things. But I'm liking. So we'll see how we are going when the sentiments get put down. I'm just going to use a little bit of, I'm not actually re-inking up my Distress Ink thing. I'm literally just using what's already on there. So I just sort of want to take away that whiteness, but I don't particularly want it dark. So it's just sort of, yeah, taking the edge off it, and then we'll see what we can do with a pen. At one point I was wondering whether I should get a few washes out. I might still do that. I'll see how it looks once the sentiment is down. We've got a bit of doodling on there, that might be all we need, but we'll see. It's getting there though. It's getting there. So anyway, I hope you like these little girls. You can find them over in my shop. I also have a discount code until Sunday. So if you put in Melodies 15, you get a 15% discount on this collection. So I normally have a 15% discount for the like sort of launch weekend of it, so feel free to go and check that out. As I said, I will pop it in the description box below. But yeah, it's always sort of exciting and nerve-wracking bringing out a collection, because you just hope that everybody else is gonna like it as much as you do. And I do sort of like these little dinky girls. They're different from my other style of girls, but I do think they are very cute. So yeah, I'm hoping that you like. And also I have a huge team behind me that are all amazing. So we have a few of them here on YouTube. We've got the lovely Dawn, Shiny Silver Treasures. We have got Sarah, Rare Root Crafts, and we have Laura, Mrs. Stationery and Stuff. So I'll put links to their channels in the description box below. But I also have an amazing team across social media. So most of them are on Facebook. So we have the lovely Jan. Jan is my right hand woman. You can't live without a Jan. Everybody needs a Jan. So we've got Jan, and then we also have Shona. Shona lives in Inverness, so it's funny, she quite often gets the collection ahead of the other girls, because she doesn't actually live that far away from me. It's about a 5-minute walk, so even in lockdown when the new things have been coming out, and I've had to like sort of go to the post office and everything for all the other girls, I've just been able to nip past Shona's and pop it through the door. So she always gets it ahead of everyone else. So we've got Shona, we've got Leslie, who's just joined us. We have the wonderful Denise, who's also on the design team for Samantha K and is a demonstrator on Hachanda. And she is amazing. And we have the amazing Emma Blake, who again is a demonstrator on Hachanda, and she also has her own line of stamps. So a very, very creative bunch. They are all amazing. So if you fancy sort of checking out to see what even more of the team have done, please pop over to my Facebook group. It's the JMC Crazy Craft Hive. I will also put the details to that in the description box below, because there is loads and loads of inspiration to be had. So I'm just going to do a doodle around the frames of these little girls, and yeah, a doodle around the actual page, and see if that is enough. If it is enough to call this page done. So I'm definitely not going to get this up for 4 o'clock, since it's 5 to 4 now. And I like to watch my videos through. I always watch them through first, just to make sure that there's sort of you know, nothing that shouldn't be there, or like no big long boring bits where the camera's been running and I've not realised, or you know, I just like to watch it through and make sure it's okay. So it takes me a wee, however long the video is. It normally takes longer than that because I edit bits out, you know, that are a bit unnecessary as well. And then you have to edit it, and then the computer has to produce it, and sometimes that takes as long as the video is or more for it to produce, and then you have to upload it to YouTube, and sometimes YouTube takes as long as the video is. So this could be going up, it will go up sometime this evening, but exactly when, I don't know. I'm going to draw, I like doing this sort of like a little cross stitch effect on my sentiment. I've got something on my pen, I think it's picked up a bit of the tissue or something. It just looks like it's been stitched on to the page then, and I think that's quite fun. So I'm going to add a few of those so it looks like that has been stitched on, and then let's add a doodly border to the edge, and then as I said, we can decide if we want some washes or if just maybe some splashes will be enough actually. I'm going to do loads of scribbles, make it a really, really scribbly border. But yeah, I think these girls work well on this page. So the difference, the turning point for me on this journal was when I realised that I needed to put the 2 girls down. So I think as I was saying, you just play and see what happens, and eventually you hit a point where you're like, right, okay, that's it. I see what I need. I see the direction that I need to go in. But all the other part of it, it's about getting started. As I said, and once I thought, do you know what, I need a girl on each page, then the page actually sort of then came together for me. I had a direction. I had something that I felt I was working towards, but it was only at that point that I began to have an idea of what we were doing. That's gone a bit crazier than I expected it to. I'll just put a crazy one this side as well, make that look a bit more deliberate. There you go, see we can fix anything. Let me see, I'm just going to grab some washies and have a play. Okay, so I found this washi that's like a piano thing, so that feels like it's meant to be. So I might just put some bits and pieces of that around the edges. I was just feeling that the page was just needing a little something. It's pretty much there, but it was just needing a little something to sort of finish it off. And I just wondered. Now it's funny, I wouldn't normally put washies in at the end as a finishing touch, but I have this time, so there you go. That's different, right? And again I'm going to go for my rule of 3, so I've got a bit there, and then I'm going to put some in at the centre over here. And I think that's quite nice. I love washies as well because again they've got that transparency to them, so they do add an element of something, but you can also still see everything that's underneath. It still comes poking through. Now these are really old washies. I inherited these and they were clearly owned for quite some time, so they're not the easiest thing to use because they rip quite easily. But just having little elements is fine. I think it works quite well in a journal. Having just little torn bits. I'm liking that actually. If I put a bit here, that's going to bring those 2 pages together a little bit. And I've got the tape going a different way there, that's okay. Actually, I'm going to bring some into this corner and take some up to that corner there. And then again, what I'm doing by doing that is taking the eye up to, like taking the eye through the images. So it's like I'm almost telling the brain where to look. It's clever little tricks that we can do, and it's funny. It's these sort of little understanding, these little nuances that can just really help a page or art to suddenly make sense, because you're pulling. So I've created my Z there. So we talk about Z formation and how you draw the eye through the page. So we've got the tape and everything going here, we've got it coming down here, and then we've got it going back up there. So the fact that we've created that Z, from either side we are dragging the eye into these main feature images and the sentiment. So yeah, I always think it's amazing when you learn stuff like that. I remember learning that a bit at school, having to do all of it seemed so boring at the time, you know, you just want to paint, and then all of a sudden you're around to do art history, and that was the part of the Impressionism movement. It was Degas that was particularly good at the whole Z thing. So I'm going to add a few more of these, and then actually I might just finish off by putting some of the piano ones back on top of it again. Just because I can, really. Yeah, I'm liking that because I'm sort of like bringing it over into the actual images as well, which is cool. Yeah. Happy, happy, happy. See, now I'm happy. You can hear it. Whereas before I was like, yeah, I'm liking it. Yeah. At one point I was like, what on earth? And then I was like, yeah, I'm happy now. I'm happy. Yeah, we're happy. And I'm like, woohoo, look at it. It's lovely. So that's the thing. You just keep going until you are at that point of, yes, that's it. Happy, happy, happy. When you find yourself going happy, 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 you've done it. You're at the stage then of like, yeah, that's it. Got it. Right, so, and yes, I think I am going to go with some black splashes. I'm just trying to see if I happen to have a sort of black watercolour pen to hand. Oh, I do, look, see. The first thing I did when I went into isolation was to tidy my craft room, and I think if you have a look, I have a video of a tour of my craft room. It does not look like that anymore. But I have to say, it has made me laugh how all us crafters are similar, because as lockdown started, and it's not that we were all copying each other, I think just crafters are very alike in a lot of respects. All of us went and sorted our craft room first. It was like, oh yeah, we have time, let's sort our craft room. And then the next thing I've seen is everybody's using up their scraps, and that's what I've been doing as well. And I think it's just, we all sort of have the similar creative mindset. We're all like, oh yeah, let's make the most of it. We'll tidy our craft room, and then we'll get and use all these scraps, as we can't, be going out to craft shops and buying more. Still managing to order online right enough, but yeah. So that does make me laugh. But yeah, I don't have that lovely clean craft room that you got the tour of. It now looks like a big hot mess. But yes, once I've got this video edited and up, I will be coming back up this evening to sort of tidy up again. But there we go, we are done. So this is the mini Melody collection. I hope you've enjoyed having a little sneak peek of this, and I'm sure I'll be back playing with them some more. If you have enjoyed it here, please do consider liking and subscribing, and I'll be back again very soon. Okay, take care then, and goodbye.